Adding another twist to the sad saga of India's top wrestlers' months-long protest, some media reports emerged today suggesting that according to the Delhi police, there is simply not enough evidence to arrest Brij Bhushan Singh, the Wrestling Federation chief who has been accused of sexually harassing 7 women wrestlers, including a minor. But, of course, there is no official statement from the Delhi police to this effect. They are yet to submit any report in this regard. This is a case that has been grabbing headlines for weeks now. On Tuesday, some of India's top wrestlers and medal-winning champions, including Sakshi Malik, Vinesh Fogart and Bajrang Punia, threatened to immerse their Olympic, Commonwealth and World Championship medals into the Ganga River after they accused the Delhi police and the government of India of dragging their feet and shielding Brij Bhushan Singh. The wrestlers have been demanding the sacking and arrest of the 6-time BJP MP and Wrestling Federation of India's chief in the sexual harassment case. They've also threatened to go on a fast unto death if the government refuses to accept their demands. On Sunday, we saw the unedifying images of the country's medal-winning wrestlers and Olympic champions, most of them women, being manhandled, shoved around, pinned to the ground, dragged, lifted off the road and bundled into buses by the Delhi police during their protest march from Jantar Mantar to India's new parliament. The heartbreaking images soon flooded the social media, triggering massive outrage and condemnation for the high-handedness of the police. The question is just, what is the way forward? Will there be justice in this case? Now, even though I must state this categorically at the start of the show, that there is no official statement from the Delhi police to this effect, but several media reports emerged today suggesting that the Delhi police believe that there is simply not enough evidence to arrest Brij Bhushan Singh. Now, this has been one of the primary demands of the protesting wrestlers, that he should be sacked as the Wrestling Federation chief and he should be arrested. If what we are hearing is true, then really what do you think is the way ahead for these protesting wrestlers?
Neha, as you know, there are FIRs, and if there was a content in the FIRs, then only the sections which has been put on Brij Bhushan Singh under POCSO, those have come out. And first of all, there should have been arrest of Brij Bhushan, and then there should have been investigation further. This is the provision in under POCSO, and he has been given pretty much time to manipulate the things. Day before in Rohtak, the relative of this nabalig ladki, जो पॉक्सो में जिससे शिकायत की है, his uncle, who is not related with the family so well, he conducted a press conference and said that she has been misled by these
That's right. Can I just quickly quote him, ma'am? Can I quickly quote him? Of course, we don't know if this man is actually related to this young girl. His name is Amit Pahalwan. He claims to be the uncle of this girl, yes, and he says that the wrestlers are misleading the girl and her family and using them to frame Brij Bhushan Singh. He says that my niece's age has been changed to 16 years so that these wrestlers can wrongly use the POCSO Act against Brij Bhushan Singh. He then goes on to claim that the girl's date of birth is actually 22nd February 2004. I must clarify again, we don't know whether he's actually related to the girl, but this is the claim that's been made. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, he is claiming that he is uncle of this girl, whereas in the same video he is saying that although he is not on talking terms with his elder brother, and the whole thing, if you go through the video, it's all mysterious what he has narrated. But Brij Bhushan was given time to manipulate the thing, to prepare people like him to come out and violate all the procedures. the claims which he has made are totally baseless. And as it was done in Asaram Bapu's case, that minor girl, the documents were manipulated from Anganwadi. They got the date of birth certificate from Anganwadi, from the hospital, from the panchayat. Now again, they are trying to do the same here in this particular case also. So there are enough evidence, and the police must arrest him immediately. And if they arrest him, then the evidence will be more clear and much more forcefully will come out. Now the things are being distorted, manipulated, and managed, and this is the same Delhi police which did not even register the FIR without the instructions of Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court has instructed the Delhi police to lodge the FIR, then there must be some content in the FIRs. And I personally have gone through the FIRs, and being a sports person, I can well imagine the torture, the sexual assaults these girls have been through. Really, really concerning. And now what is being said by the police, it will be exposed in the coming time.
You know, I know the sports minister and many others, especially in the BJP, have argued that the law must take its own course. The matter is under investigation. The wrestlers must repose some faith in the system, in the Delhi police. And, you know, you can't just demand somebody's arrest at the drop of a hat. However, you know, the counter argument to that is, you know, what you heard Ma'am Jagmati Sangwan just say. You know, the wrestlers have been saying, we did not want to take to the streets. We did not want to sit at Jantar Mantar for weeks together. We had reposed faith in the government and in the sports ministry. We'd gone to them with our complaints. We went repeatedly to the Delhi police. When nothing happened, when no action was taken, that is when we first sat on a dharna in the month of January. We got an assurance that there would be action. We went back. We returned 3 months later again because there was complete inaction. Yes, a committee was set up, but its report hasn't been made public yet. We don't even know what the recommendations of that committee are. Let's face it, sir, the Delhi police had refused to even register an FIR. Till the wrestlers went knocking on the doors of the Supreme Court of India, it took the intervention of the highest court of the land to get the Delhi police to even register an FIR. And it's also been pointed out that in a case as serious as one that involves the POCSO Act, very often you do see arrests being made, but not in this case. So the allegation is that, you know, the police are and the entire system is trying to shield a man who's very powerful, a 6-time MP, belongs to the ruling party. And what makes matters worse is that he continues to call himself the president of the Wrestling Federation of India, even though technically his term may have ended in May, but of course there was no election. So the point really is, can you really expect a fair probe when the man continues to be the president of the Wrestling Federation? I mean, he's not even had the decency to step aside and say, okay, let a fair probe occur. And then there are all these media reports being attributed to the Delhi police, saying that, you know, there is simply no evidence or not enough evidence against the man. Because the fear that's being expressed is that, you know, the script has already been written. He's too powerful a man and he's going to get away. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me say at the very outset that both the inquiry and the investigation started on a wrong foot. You know, it was quite evident when Supreme Court directed the Delhi police to register the FIR. Before that, there was no internal complaints committee within the WFI, and that itself should have been the reason why the WFI officials should have been suspended and put on hold so that they don't exert any influence. On that count, I totally agree with you. And even when the complaint was lodged, I don't know why there was a delay in registering the FIR. As per the Lalita Kumari judgment, of course, Delhi police took the exceptions that in cases where complaint has been lodged after a considerable period of time, there is a scope for inquiry, and they did that. Again, there was a delay, and then the FIR was registered. Now, the question is, in such cases, immediately you go in for a statement before a magistrate. That again was delayed. And now that the magistrate statements, have been taken, again the investigation is frozen in time because this gentleman has not been called even for a statement. Forget about arrest and all.
Exactly.
So there are two things here. One is, if Delhi police really thinks, they have three options. Either they investigate, arrest this man, get the statements of the witnesses recorded, and then file a charge sheet. Secondly, they can cite lack of evidence and then again put up the challan before the magistrate. Again, the magistrate will have to agree, and the magistrate can call for further investigation. Or number three, if they are so convinced that this entire thing is false and trumped up charges, then they can take action against the wrestlers under 182/211 of IPC. The question is, why is it frozen in time? And that is where the doubt arises that because of this gentleman who's making sweeping statements, calling Vinesh mantra, calling the POXO Act itself, a kind of a wrong act, which was, drafted in the earlier regime, and he would like to make some changes. He also jested and said, "Ye chua-chut ka ye hai, sahi chua-chut ya bura chua-chut." Now, this is a kind of thing which obviously impacts the investigation. Yeah. So I think the police does not have any options now. It has to go in for one of the reasons, one of the alternatives. And I think there is no other way except to go ahead with the investigation. Mind you, Neha, the World Federation body of wrestling
has expressed concern.
Threatened action. You have support pouring in from Japan. You have support pouring in from the wrestlers of Manipur. So this is not only a political slugfest. It is also support coming from the sportsmen. There should be a rightful case investigation. And I think it is important that the government even looks at it and goes ahead with the investigation to its logical conclusion.
At the very least, in a case such as this, Brij Bhushan Singh should have stepped aside or been sacked as Wrestling Federation chief. That's not happened. If not an arrest, at the very least, he should have been interrogated by the Delhi police, his statement recorded. That's not happened yet. The man is going around making all sorts of statements, targeting these wrestlers, accusing them, their campaign and protest of being politically motivated. He's bringing in caste into this entire story. He says the POXO Act needs to be amended, this, that, and the other. The question really is, ma'am, do you really see this case moving in the right direction? Because like I keep saying, now there are reports suggesting that according to the Delhi police, there is simply not enough evidence to arrest this man. If it is true, and I'm not saying there's an official statement from the Delhi police on this, but if this is true, the Delhi police actually believe that there isn't enough evidence to arrest the man, then tomorrow they could very well give him a clean chit and file a closure report in the court. Where does that leave these wrestlers?
Well, Neha, let me pick up something what Yasho said just now. One thing very important is that, FIR is already been registered. When you register a FIR, there has got to be certain things which are more substantial than just somebody coming and telling the police that, this is what has happened to me. So, and Supreme Court having ordered this FIR to Delhi police, means something. Like, after all, if there was nothing in front of the Supreme Court, why will they ask Delhi police to register the FIR? Number two is that why this man has not even once been asked a question. Why even the investigation, that is internal complaints committee, it is mandatory. We are on almost 35 Government of India and other private sector committees dealing with all these cases. Why it is that only one side story was told, and this, whereas the onus of proof lies on him. He has to prove that he did not do all this. Because, sexual harassment does not happen in public. When he touches their body, he feels that, does whatever he does to her, there is no consent. That's why they have come forward and said, if there was no consent, then why it is that he is left out of this whole picture? Whether it is police, whether it is internal complaints committee, this man has to be brought to books. He has to be brought to the police station now that FIR is there, and ask questions. What happened on such and such day? What happened on such and such date? Where were you? What was? So I think that investigation has to go on, and he has to prove that he did not do it. The fact that he's making a whole political statement around the whole issue using caste, changing POXO, all kinds of nonsense that he's publicly talking about, which is, you know how difficult it was to get POXO in place by all of us who fought for it, and how important the whole law is to protect minors. And look at the loosely he's talking about all these things, and he's been allowed to do it by his political party. Anyway, that is his political party's business. Country is watching, women are watching the country, and we know that today women's voices, and not ordinary women, not a woman sitting in the office, Neha. These are the women who brought laurels. And now I'm sure Olympic Committee is going to come in. I'm sure international athletes
they nearly immersed their medals in the Ganga yesterday.
I'm sure. Yes, Neha, they are going to come in. We all are supporting it. We all are with the wrestlers. But the whole thing is that we demand that Mr. Brij Bhushan Singh should be arrested, brought to the police station, and then he should be asked these questions. That's minimum the Delhi police has to do. Whatever pressure they may be under. I mean, the law is law. If they are the ones who are supposed to enforce the law. If they are not able to enforce the law, then then why do we have police at all? Why do we have these laws at all? Why did we have sexual harassment and workplace law, which came in where the person who has really wronged the woman has to prove that he has not wronged the woman? Now, why are we saying girls are not being able to provide the proof? This, that, and the other, all kinds of political stories have been woven around the whole fact. I mean, they are sitting alone. So if anybody is coming to support, it's too good. It's better that society wakes up to this call. If yesterday, imagine, if yesterday that Mr. Tikab had not reached, do you
the
think
medals would have been in the Ganga?
Really accepted throwing the medals in the river?
Manasvi Thapar, Jagmati Sangwan, and the protesting wrestlers saying that what's happened in this case is a complete travesty and mockery of justice and India's legal system. Here's a powerful man who's a 6-time MP, belongs to the ruling party, insists on still being referred to as the president of India's Wrestling Federation. He's not even had the decency to step aside. He faces charges under the POXO Act. Forget about being arrested. He's not even been interrogated once. Now there are media reports suggesting that according to the Delhi police, there's simply not enough evidence to arrest him. Well, if this is true, and we don't know that yet because the Delhi police hasn't issued a statement, but if this is true, tomorrow the Delhi police could very well come out and give him a clean chit and file a closure report in court.
So that is what is there in front of all. What is there? The reality. Am I audible?
Please continue. We have a bit of a problem with your line, but please continue.
So in the image of what or the sports federation has been put up in front of the country, what we understand as of now is if someone has done such if against Brij Bhushan, he should have on morality. Let the legal course take its own time. We know in the past, be it Lal Bahadur Shastri or LK Advani in the recent times have resigned if there were some allegations against them, or not even allegations. If they took a moral responsibility of something, positions would come and go. What is more important is protecting the essence, protecting the welfare of the wrestlers and the sportsmanship. That has not been there. And the entire system and the entire BJP lobby has been trying to project as in Brij Bhushan is a very honest man, an upright man, could not do any kind of mischief under POXO Act or anything. And this has been, and there has been a selective lobby which is trying to criminalize the wrestlers. They have been treating, we saw the images when the new parliament was being opened up, how the wrestlers are national heritage. The wrestlers, I would say, they are our national heritage. They have brought laurels for our country and they were treated this way. It's a sad day and we should all condemn it. These are the people who brought gold and silver for our country, and while they were bringing gold and silver for our country, we all were celebrating. Desh ki betiyan. These were the people who we wanted our kids to be like them. And now, if they're complaining to the country, they're complaining to the government. The government is on deaf ears. This is not how we should want a system of any country should function. On the contrary, the sports minister, Brij Bhushan, and the prime minister and the entire cabinet should be with them. They should give an understanding to the country. Yes, we are with the wrestlers. Let the investigation be completed. Till that time, Brij Bhushan is not anymore the president of Wrestling Federation.
Yes.
And if the result is contrary, if the result is contrary, who will be on the back foot? The wrestlers would be
Yes,
on the back
at
foot.
the very least, this man should have been asked to step aside. And, you know, I understand the sentiment you're expressing, Manasvi Thapar, but to expect a Brij Bhushan Singh to act like Lal Bahadur Shastri, I think is way, way too optimistic. This man is going around talking about how the POCSO Act needs to be amended.